One day. One decision. And the entire baseball world exploded. Mookie Betts is back. And the moment he walked back into that Dodger blue clubhouse, everything changed. The roster was reshuffled. The batting order was rewritten. Two key players were handed their walking papers. And Kim Hye-sung, the man Korean fans had pinned all their hopes on, was quietly sent down to the minors without so much as a headline warning. Korean media didn't take it quietly. They erupted. Betts is useless, some wrote. Others pointed their fury at Kim's demotion like it was a personal insult. But here's what the headlines missed, what nobody is actually talking about, and it's the real story behind this Dodger shakeup that will define their entire 2025 season. Let's get into it. When Mookie Betts went down earlier this season, the Dodgers didn't collapse, they adapted. That's what great organizations do. Pieces slid into place. Players who had been waiting in the wings got their shot. Lineups were rebuilt around the absence, and for a while, it worked. But Betts returning isn't just about adding one player back into the mix. It's a seismic event. Because Mookie Betts isn't a piece, he's the piece. He is the player who makes every other player on that roster better just by standing in the same dugout. His energy, his preparation, his presence in the clubhouse before a single pitch is thrown, it changes the entire atmosphere of the team. The Dodgers knew this when they signed him. They know it now. And that's exactly why the moment he was cleared to return, management didn't ease him back in carefully. They restructured the entire lineup around him immediately. That's not a coincidence. That's a statement. The Dodgers are not a team that plays things safe. They are a team that plays to win. And having Betts back in that lineup, healthy, hungry, and with something to prove after the time away, makes them a completely different beast going into this stretch of the season. But it came at a cost. And that cost has names. Two players designated for assignment in one move. Let that sink in. In Major League Baseball, a designation for assignment isn't just a roster move. It's a message. It tells the entire league, this player no longer fits what we're building. It tells the player, your time here may be over. And it tells every other player on the 40-man roster, perform, or this could be you. The Dodgers didn't make this decision lightly. Organizations like Los Angeles, with their analytics depth, their player development infrastructure, their front office that is widely considered among the sharpest in baseball, do not make emotional roster decisions. Every move is calculated. Every designation is backed by data, by projection, by a clear vision of what the team needs to look like in October. So when two key contributors were handed DFA notices on the same day Betts returned, it wasn't chaos. It was clarity. The Dodgers looked at their roster, looked at the players available, looked at the schedule ahead, a brutal stretch that includes the Atlanta Braves, and made the cold, calculated decision that these two players no longer gave them the best chance to win. That's brutal. That's also professional baseball at its highest level. And somewhere in the middle of all this, a young Korean infielder found himself on a bus to the minor leagues. Let's talk about what really happened with Kim Hye-sung, because the Korean media reaction tells only half the story, and frankly, the less important half. Kim Hye-sung arrived in Los Angeles carrying something that no MLB contract can fully capture, the hopes of an entire baseball nation. Korea watches the Dodgers not just because they love baseball, but because the Dodgers have become a stage where Korean players get to prove themselves to the world. Every at-bat, every defensive play, every roster move involving a Korean player is analyzed, discussed, and dissected across every sports channel and social media platform from Seoul to Busan. That's an enormous weight for a young player to carry. And here's what the angry Korean headlines missed: being sent to the minors is not the end of Kim Hye-sung's story. For many players, especially young, talented players adjusting to the speed and precision of major league pitching, time in AAA is not a punishment. It is preparation. The Dodgers did not sign Kim Hye-sung to watch him struggle and disappear. They signed him because they believe in what he can become. And right now, with Betts returning and the roster needing to be completely restructured for an important stretch of games, the organization made the decision that Kim needs more consistent at-bats, more developmental time, and a lower-pressure environment to sharpen the tools that made him one of the most coveted players in Korean baseball. That is not failure. That is player development working exactly as it should. The question isn't whether Kim can play in the major leagues. The question is when, and under what circumstances, he comes back up. And based on the Dodgers' track record of developing talent, that answer is likely, sooner than you think. Now let's talk about the move that quietly carries the most tactical weight in all of this. Shohei Ohtani's position in the batting order has been changed. On the surface, this seems like a minor adjustment. In reality, it is a chess move that tells you everything about how the Dodgers plan to attack the Braves and the rest of their schedule through this critical window of the season. Ohtani batting in a different spot in the order is not about Ohtani underperforming. Look at his numbers, they speak for themselves. This is about optimization. This is about the Dodgers looking at their full lineup with Betts back in the fold and asking a very specific question. How do we construct this batting order to create maximum damage against the pitching staffs we're about to face? With Betts back, the Dodgers suddenly have a different problem than most teams: too many elite hitters. When you have multiple players who can change a game with one swing, the order in which they appear matters enormously. You don't want your best hitters bunched together in a way that allows opposing managers to simply walk one to get to the next. You want them spaced in a way that creates constant, inescapable pressure from the first inning to the last. Moving Ohtani in the order is not a demotion of his importance. It is a recognition of his value, and a strategic choice to place him where he can do the most damage within this specific lineup construction. The Braves have one of the better pitching staffs in the National League. The Dodgers know this. And this lineup, rebuilt around Betts's return with Ohtani repositioned for maximum effect, is their answer. Everything connects here. Every roster move, every lineup adjustment, every difficult decision made in the last 48 hours, it all points toward one thing: the Dodgers are locking in for a serious run, and the Braves series is where they're making their first statement. Atlanta is not a team you take lightly. They are deep, experienced, and at full strength. They are one of the few teams in baseball that can genuinely match what the Dodgers bring to the field. This series isn't just important in the standings, it's important psychologically. It's the kind of series that sets a tone, that tells both teams and the rest of the league who you are and what you're capable of. The Dodgers restructured their entire roster going into this series. That tells you how seriously they're taking it. With Betts back in the lineup, with Ohtani positioned for maximum impact, with a roster that has been trimmed and sharpened through difficult but decisive moves, Los Angeles is walking into this Braves series with a clear message: we are not building toward October. We are winning right now. There is a philosophy behind all of this that goes beyond wins and losses. It's about preparation. It's about making decisions based not on comfort, but on what gives you the best possible chance at a specific moment. The Dodgers front office doesn't make roster moves to make fans feel good. They make them to win. Sending a player down to get better isn't cruelty, it's investment. Changing a batting order isn't a slight, it's strategy. Designating players who no longer fit isn't heartless, it's the difference between organizations that compete and organizations that collect names. The best teams in baseball understand something that casual fans often miss: the goal isn't to have the best individual players. The goal is to have the right combination of players, in the right roles, at the right moment. That is what you're seeing from the Dodgers right now. So here is where we land. Betts is back. The roster has been remade. Ohtani's spot in the order has been adjusted. Hye-sung is in AAA, sharpening his tools. Two players are looking for new organizations. And the Braves are waiting. The question is simple: is this the moment the 2025 Dodgers show the rest of baseball exactly what they're capable of? Everything they've built, every difficult decision they've made, every young player they've developed and every veteran they've brought in, it all comes to a point right here. The roster is set. The lineup is locked. The opponent is ready. Now it's time to play ball. The Korean media can stay angry. The roster analysts can debate the DFA decisions. The batting order experts can argue about where Ohtani belongs. But when that first pitch is thrown against Atlanta, none of that will matter. Only the scoreboard will.